Hey, gun people. Yeah, that's a pretty good one. So, in all police calls, you know, the way a guy shows up, the way he handles himself, they call it command presence. An officer shows up. Responding to this place, just by the looks of this video right here, it's kind of a fatal funnel. It's a trap. I'm not sure why this officer's by himself. I don't know if it's a city to where they don't have a lot of officers. I don't know if they send single officers a call. The original call is a disturbance, I think, between a man and a woman, which normally means it's domestic. And normally you don't want to send a single officer to domestic because normally, even if they're fighting, they're both going to turn on you, or if you try to arrest one, the other one's going to turn on you. So domestics are not a single officer call in my book, and in most agencies I've worked with, they would never send a single officer to a domestic. But anyway, for some reason, this guy shows up in a single officer to a domestic. So let's take a look at this. I'll critique some of the things I see here. Now, they didn't have audio at first, and I think in most cameras, when you activate your camera for the first 30 seconds, because it goes back, it doesn't have audio. So when he turns it on, it's giving 30 seconds, I guess, of past footage. So he's knocking on the door. Bad officer safety. I don't care what I was not. Even if I knocked on the door for a witness, I never stand in front of the door. You don't know when you're going to surprise somebody. You don't know if there's a drug deal going down. You don't know if they were just getting weapons and they just got back from armed robbery. You don't know if they saw you get out of the car. Somebody said, hey, man, they called the cops. There's just so many things that I've gone to so many innocent calls, and when you knock on the door, it goes bad. You hear things breaking. You hear people running. You hear toilets flushing. You hear windows breaking. I mean, it's just, you just don't know when you knock on a door. So when I was knocking on a door, I didn't stand in front of the damn door. That's a basic academy thing. If a guy shoots through the door, you don't want to be in front of the door. Now, he can shoot you through the side of the wall, but most people will shoot at the door when somebody knocks at it if they're going to shoot. So right there telling me this guy is not what I would call on his A game. He's not the top percentage. He's not officer safety. Some people will say he's not overly paranoid, and some people would say I would be overly paranoid. I don't care. I don't knock on a door standing in front of it. I just don't do it. I don't care what the call is, and I don't care what other people say. I don't do it. He does get some distance when he's waiting for him to answer, which is good. Normally, you also saw that he kind of walked and knocked on the door. Normally on domestic calls, when a cop walks up, you want to stop and listen. You want to just stand outside and listen. Do you hear cussing? Do you hear screaming? Do you hear a woman moaning? Do you hear somebody yell for help? Do you hear kids crying? You want to observe a little bit before they know you're there and before you announce yourself. It gives you a little bit better information. This cop did not do that. He walked right up and knocked on the door. He stood in front of the door. A couple things I didn't like. At least here, he stands away a little bit and he's got some distance, which is smart. He doesn't want to be right there so a guy can't open the door and hit him in the face with a sledgehammer or something.
Hello. You called me? What's happening? How you doing? You want to step back?
Come in.
Just the front. Don't point at me, man.
Yeah?
Step back.
Step back for who?
Step back.
For who? For you?
What's his problem?
No, that's for this. What you say? What you say?
problem?
Say it again. Say it again. What is your fucking... Hey!
Okay, now I couldn't hear a lot of the discussions in here. And I don't know if I could bring up the... Okay, I tried to bring up the... In one video, I hit translations or something, and it put it up here, and it gave a whole transcript of it. I don't know how to pull it up to see if it would do it. But anyway, there was something else I noticed about a clue on this guy that I kind of forgot to mention. When this guy walks up, look at the way he knocks on the door. Did I already miss it? I missed it. Let me go back. You see that knocking? Watch that knocking. He's knocking with his knuckles. He's made a fist and he's knocking with the front of his knuckles. No cop that's been around for a while knocks like that. I always knocked with the palm, like a palm heel strike or a bottom fist strike. I'd make a fist and use the side of my fist or use the palm of my hand. when you use the knuckles, for one, it hurts. When you knock on a lot of doors, it gets sore. It's usually not that loud, especially if they have a solid door. So when I knocked on the door, I usually knocked with the palm of my it's called a palm heel strike, or a bottom fist strikes with the side. So let's continue here on this where they go inside and they get into this little argument here.
It's just the front. Don't point at me, man.
Huh?
Step back.
Step back for who?
Step back.
For who? For you?
What's his problem?
No, that's for this. What you say? What you say?
problem?
Say it again. Say it again. What is your fucking?
Okay. Now, I could be wrong, and somebody's going to come here and go, oh, you're wrong. You don't know what you're talking about. Well, you know what? Maybe I don't, but I'm telling you. It sounded to me like the guy told him to step back. First of all, he went in the house. Instead of standing at the door to where he had cover, he could have got behind the door. He didn't call one of the guys out. When you walk in a house, you give the person home ground advantage. It's kind of like turf advantage. Anytime you go into their area, you don't know where they've hidden weapons. First of all, it's their house. They're paying rent. They're going to be a little bit more defensive. If you can get somebody out in more of a neutral area, he can't claim, this is my house. This is my house. And you get that a lot. So he got in there, and I think he told the guy to step back. The guy goes, for who? And he goes, step back. And he goes, for who? For you? And you could tell that was a challenge. And instead of the cop reading that and trying to disengage or lower it, he kind of got in his face. You heard me. I said it. Whatever he said, he was like, hey. And he tried to order him. And when it didn't work, the cop bailed. Okay? That's why you don't bluff. That's why you don't do things when you really can't back it up. This cop totally bailed out, and he was totally doing stuff that he shouldn't. So, and it goes bad.
Send 94. Send
So he's backing up. He's backing away. It took him a while to get out that he needed help. He should have been on the radio right away. Again, I'm seeing a lot of rookiness moves here that this guy isn't a lot real experienced. First of all, he went in the guy's house. He stood in front of the door. He knocked with his knuckles. When we got in there, he tried to be a tough guy. And as soon as tough guy didn't work, he ran outside and went, oh, shit, now what do I do? Then he got on the radio and he called, and it took him a while to call for help. So in my opinion, there's a lot of rookie things going on here. Now, I know everybody's going to be like, oh, everybody can't be perfect like you. Look, I'm just giving you my opinion, people. You can learn from it. Or you can sit around and cry about it and try to make it about me and you. Okay, first of all, this dude throwing the punches is a wuss, dude. Did you see that punch that dude threw? Are you serious? You swing at me like that? I ain't running. Let me go back 10 seconds here. Look at this punch here. Watch this. Good grief. My grandma in a wheelchair hits harder than that. And you're running and screaming? Take this dude down. Get in a fight. This cop is in retreat. He's in fear. He's not in control. He hasn't been in a lot of fights. He doesn't know how to get aggressive and go, don't you swing at me. We're going. I mean, this dude needs to be on the ground. He's a no person. Grabbed by the neck, twist lock, reverse wrist, takedown, bar. There's 100 different things you can do. Leg sweep, head tilt. I mean, I just can't believe this cop is running from this dude. All right, I know. Everybody's going to be coming here. Oh, everybody's tough as you. Well, that's because I'm not a damn pussy.
Back down, man. What is wrong?
How many times has a taser failed? Now, should he have pulled his gun? I don't think he can shoot. I don't think deadly force is authorized. Remember, deadly force, you have to defend yourself or others from seriously bodily injury and or death. I mean, the way this guy was throwing little girl punches at this dude. Notice the guy's bald. I know he's black. Everybody wants me to point out that he's black. I know, yeah, whatever, he's black. Has nothing to do with it. But he's bald. That might have something. But anyway, so the guy is running. Yeah, the guy's taller than him and he's bigger than him. But he swings like a freaking little girl wearing pink panties. I mean, good grief. And this cop is running and scared and has no defensive skills. Probably a damn quota hire got hired because he was a brother's uncle's friend, or he identified as freaking the 14th bathroom, whatever. So he got hired and he can't do the job, and now he's out here running, screaming for help. And I'm just like, really, dude? You can't take this dude down? I mean, look, man, I've been in plenty of fights. This dude is no fighter. He's not aggressive. He doesn't have a stance. He's not swinging hard. He's swinging like a sissy pansy girl. Good grief. I've seen fat kids fight harder for a piece of cake than this guy.
What's wrong with you? Stand down! Stand down!
He's just slapping him like, shut up, you punk. I slapped the taste out your... I mean, he's not even hitting the dude. He's slapping him. This cop's gonna fall? Good grief, dude. He must have pink socks on. That's what made him fall. Are you kidding me? Okay, so the cop got into a little bit of ground fighting. If you get knocked down, usually you're taught what I used to teach. You go into defensive mode. Keep your feet between you and the bad guy. He can't get in and kick you. You can block a kick. Hopefully you can get a groin strike, stomach, something. Now, normally a groin strike is not a authorized target area. You cannot kick in the groin unless deadly force is authorized. In this case, if you're trying to kick a leg or you're trying to kick a thigh out and you hit the groin, you're going to be okay. Even if you try and kick the groin and kick him, I think you're going to be okay. If you pull your gun and shoot this guy right now, I don't think you're going to be okay. Remember, at what point can you say, and this is what everyone needs to think of, whether you're a cop or civilian, at what point do you think you can justify, I'm in fear of seriously bodily injury and death? To me, I don't see it anywhere in this video yet. I see you're losing a fight. I see you're not in the fight. I see you don't know how to fight and you ain't punched back. I haven't seen you attack or try to defend yourself other than run and scream and pull out a taser and then trip over a blade of grass. Jesus.
What is problem? What is wrong? Hey, settle down! Tell me what is wrong!
Now, I don't know if he has his gun out yet. I would probably have my gun out. I don't think I would shoot. I mean, I absolutely know I wouldn't shoot yet because you just can't. It's not in my mind yet that I'm in fear of serious bodily injury. This guy's, he's got my foot. I mean, what's he going to do with my foot? It's not like he's he's got me in a figure four lock and he's about to snap it. It's not like now somebody's going to say, well, you know, if he kicks you in the head, he could knock you out, so that's serious bodily injury and you should shoot him. Well, yeah, I mean, you could say that and probably get away with it, but I don't see it. I don't see this guy who's attacking him being that aggressive. I see him being a no person. I see he's pissed off you came in my house, tried to order me around and treat me like a bitch, and now I'm going to treat you like a bitch. So I see where the guy's coming from that's got this guy on the ground. So again, deadly force in my mind and my justification is not authorized yet.
You tell me what is wrong. Just tell me. What is wrong?
Well, what's wrong with you?
I don't know. You just tell me. Let go of my leg. Let go of my leg, sir.
Now, wait a minute. A few minutes ago, when you walked and barged into his house, you said, what did you say? Say it again. You were all in his face. And now, all of a sudden, when you're on the ground and he's got your foot, now he's sir. Okay, hang on. Let me get my pussy alert. Beep, beep, beep. Pussy alert. You want to be all tough guy when you're entering a man's house, and now he's got you on the ground, and now he's a sir. Dude, man, this cop's screwed the pooch on this one, if you ask me.
Let go of my leg.
Dude, did y'all see that? I have been in this situation, literally, except I was on top of the dude. But we were on the ground fighting downtown Sacramento in front of the bus station. I call for SAC PD. I call for SAC SO. I want anybody. I'm fighting off dudes. And this freaking SAC PD guy drives by me just like this dude. And I'm like, are you kidding me? You just drove by me. I called for help and you drove by me? That's exactly what this cop did. Watch this.
Let go of my leg, sir.
Here comes a quota hire. Do, got my lights on. I'm gonna go drive fast. Let me go help another officer who's hollering for help. I'm gonna drive so fast, I'm gonna drive right by him and let him get killed. Are you kidding me?
Let go of my leg!
So he went from, sir, what's wrong, to now he's going to try and order again.
Dude, they're coming. Let go of my leg.
Now he's going to threaten him. They're coming.
Let go of the leg.
Don't come over there, okay?
All right, we won't. You tell me what is the problem.
I still can't make out what the guy is saying, but from the response of the officer, it sounds like the guy is being somewhat articulate and reasonable, like, I don't want you coming to my house talking shit. I don't know why you're here. I don't know what you're doing. Look, I'm not saying the suspect here is a great dude. I'm not saying that. But I'm saying if he wanted to beat this cop's ass, he could. If he wanted to take this cop's gun, I think he could. If he wanted to drop down with a knee right now in his groin and take him out of the fight and then grab him by the throat and bounce his head off the curb, he could. And he's not doing that. He's kind of almost like, dude, you're going to respect me and you're not going to treat me like this. And then he stabilizes and he stops his aggressive acts. And I know I'm going to get people here saying, Rick, you always said no people belong on the ground. Well, this guy does belong on the ground, but it's hard to get him on the ground when you're laying on your back with your pink socks on, trying to talk him into let go of my leg. Why don't you offer him some candy? He'll let go of your leg.
She calls me and you just go off.
Okay, here comes another Barney 5 super trained. Are you kidding me? I mean, look. You can tell when a guy shows up tactically and ready who's been around. This dude's walking up with a one-handed stance. I'm assuming he's got his taser. I don't know if it's a gun or not. But he just doesn't have what I call a command. I mean, first of all, if I see a dude on top of a cop, I'm not going to have any... I'm going to be running full blast and I'm going to tackle him like he's trying to score the winning touchdown on a freaking game that's worth $1 million. That dude's going to be hitting the pavement so hard from me running and body slamming him. And this guy's walking up with a freaking taser. Nobody wants to go hands-on anymore. So now he goes to a double grip. I think this might be his gun, which... probably is a mistake. I mean, he's trying to threaten him, but he doesn't have deadly force authorized. This guy ends up shooting this guy, and he's going to have to say, I was in fear of seriously bodily injury and or death for me or my fellow officer. And I just don't see it. He walks up and he doesn't try to get the guy off. He sees the guy holding him. He's got his foot. He doesn't have any weapons in his hands. Why doesn't he? I mean, this guy would be so easy to take down. He's focused on this guy. You could kick him in the back of the leg. You could do a leg sweep. You could run and tackle him. There's just so many things that you could do physically to this dude. And this dude runs up with a freaking gun and standing 10 feet away. Dude, I'm sorry. I don't know what agency this is. I probably read it, but man, you guys got to do some freaking physical fitness training or some defensive tactics training. Who's ever training these guys, they need to stop using freaking balloons in a soft room, you know, painted pink to get in touch with your feelings and hitting each other with balloons, and you need to get physical. Okay, so now he's kind of kicked him a couple times and he's dragging him around. Is there seriously bodily injury? I'm still a no on that. I do not think this cop on the ground is in danger of losing his life or getting serious bodily injury. The dude is unarmed and he has his freaking leg. I just don't get it. Tackle the dude, knock him off, tase him, kick him in the nuts, grab him by the throat, hit him with a clothesline, do something other than standing around dancing with a freaking gun in your hand. I just don't get it. Okay, he let go of the officer. Now remember, when officers use force, there's certain indicators that always come into play on when you're authorized to use more force. You can use greater force if you're outnumbered, if you're at night, if you're older, if the suspect is younger and better shape, if you're old and weak, if you've got an injury, pre-existing injuries. unlevel ground, unfriendly surrounding you. There's all kind of different things that can happen on why you can justify why you felt the need to go to greater force. None of those things are here. You got 2 officers on one guy. The suspect is unarmed. You're in daylight. You don't have a crowd. There's not people threatening you. Why the hell are you got your gun out and he let go of the officer and he's only coming at you? This officer pisses his pants and shoots out of fear because he's a freaking pussy. What does this agency hire? You gotta fucking pass the oh shit, I said the F word. Whatever, this video's getting blocked anyway. Shit.
No response from that unit as well. It remains 10-3.
Are you freaking kidding me? The dude walks up on you and you're gonna shoot him 3 freaking times? Now, look. I just did that other video where the Mesa cops shot that dude in the hallway and it was bullshit. And somebody came, I wonder if he was black, if he would feel different. Color has nothing to do with it. They did not shoot this guy because he's black. They shot him because they're incompetent, freaking wimpy, scared. I mean, I don't know what you want to call it. Lack of somebody keeping them to have standards, lack of training. They don't need more training. They get training. The training they're getting obviously isn't sticking. They're not learning. They're not comprehending. You can't just come up with, oh, the cops need more training every time they screw up. Because when you say that, you're talking millions of dollars to make sure everybody gets new training, and you can train somebody till you're blue in the face. If they refuse to learn or they refuse to use the training, it doesn't do anything. This guy should not have been shot. In my book, I think it's BS. Yes, he assaulted an officer. Yes, he had an officer on the ground. Yes, he charged an officer in an aggressive manner. This was a freaking disturbance call. The guy was in his house. We have no known violence yet. It's not like he killed anybody. He hasn't exhibited any weapon. And he let go of the officer when he was shot. This is a BS shooting. I just don't. Now, Black Lives Matter and all the people come here black. Oh, you shot because he's black and they did it. Cops do not think about that shit when they do it. These cops would have shot a white dude in the same situation, I guarantee you. They didn't shoot him because he's black. They shot him because they're incompetent and they're scared pussies. And that's a fact. Man, this is a bad shooting. I just don't get it.
487 or 481 for Bravo 1, shots fired.
This guy doesn't even know his call sign. And that's from, even though this guy shouldn't have shot, it doesn't change the fact that he's in fight or flight. He has legitimate fear, and that's part of the thing that's going to be used in court. The fear, is the fear reasonable? Doesn't have to be accurate. Is it reasonable? And he's going to say, and here's how it's going to go, I guarantee you, here's the reports, here's use of force experts. I showed up on scene, I saw an officer on his back, I didn't know if he was hurt, injured, I didn't know if he was seriously injured. He was given commands, the person had the advantage, he was dragging him in the street, I saw him kick him and assault him, I gave him multiple orders, I didn't have my taser out, I couldn't tase him, my gun was the only thing I had, the suspect was larger than me, and he lunged at me and I was in fear of my life. That's going to be the statement. That's what the jury's going to hear. They're going to bring in other cops to testify as an expert. Is it reasonable for an officer to fear some dude that's larger than him that's already beat up and kicked an officer on the ground? And the jury will go, oh, hey, you know what? That sounds reasonable. The jury's going to find him not guilty. The cop's not going to be charged. The DA's probably going to refuse to prosecute. And then people are going to go, the juries are stupid. The juries are not stupid. They only get the information that they get. If they don't have somebody like me saying, look, I've been a cop for a bunch of years, that's BS. These cops are a lack of training. They are way over scared. They should not be that scared. They have tools, they have training, they have defensive training. They've been through an academy. They know how to restrain people. They didn't use any technique except their damn gun, and he shot him because he ran at him. This is a BS shoot. I'm anti on this shoot 100%. And it still has nothing to do about the guy being black, as many people will try to make that's what it is. All right, we'll end that there. Hopefully you got something out of it.